Mr. Tufarolo, how does this short movie connect to the novel Like Water for Chocolate?
Okay, so we have Like Water for Chocolate. We have our own short film, Like Straw for a Hat. There are many different aspects you can have and different motifs that you can talk about relating to Like Water for Chocolate. And there's so many different ways you can reflect these different ideas. And so we reflected the idea of tradition and traditional values within our film. So we have Like Water for Chocolate, we have Tita, who's so oppressed by her mother, and she's putting all this pressure on her for not following traditional values. I mean, the tradition in their world is they can't, she as the youngest daughter, she can't marry this guy she's in love with, and there's just so many different things about tradition that prevent her from progression and just really doing many things she's always wanted to do in her life. And so we make that comparison to our story, Like Straw for a Hat, is our main character, Elliot. He can't, tradition prevents him from leaving where he is in his homestead. And it ends up getting him, like, neglected by his family, especially his mother. And tradition is just really preventative of being able to move forward. You know?
I get you.
Yeah. It's all about the comparison of tradition.
Alright, and now this title, Like Straw for a Hat.
Like Straw for a Hat.
Could you explain that to me, please?
See, Like Straw for a Hat, the reason we chose that is because the idea of straw in this hat. All of this straw that he ends up making into this luxurious straw hat that's just really well made. He's learned it throughout all of his life, how to make these kind of things. And straw is something that's seen on farmlands. And he's picking this up throughout the story. And he picks it up every time he either sees one or something bad happens. You know, he has this talk with his brother, picks up straw. He has this talk with his mother, picks up straw. All these, like, this negative things that
shape him.
Yes. All these negative things that are, or it could even be positive things, that are woven into this hat that make up him and his story, his identity.
So it's almost like the quilt.
It's almost like the quilt and the bedspread and Like Water for Chocolate. And all that is culminated together. He dons the hat and he takes it with him into the city.
Huh. That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did the different characters in this short relate to the novel?
Say that again?
How did the characters relate to the novel?
Well, I already talked about tradition, and I really talked about Mama and Tita talking about Like Water for Chocolate, but we have very strong comparisons between Tita and Elliot, who are both, in a similar manner, just oppressed by this idea of tradition. Then we have brother Carlisle, who is played by myself, and we make that comparison to Razora, who are not really as strongly for tradition as their respective mothers, but they're also pushing that, hey, you shouldn't do this thing, or you should respect tradition, because that's the way it's always been. In our film, the brother doesn't want Elliot to leave, because that's just, there's so many things that he's leaving behind because of it, and that's just not what you do in their culture. And then we talk about the two mothers who just have this negative attitude for breaking tradition in the first place.
All right. Should I ask the idea one?
Yeah, do it.
All right. So, did you have any other ideas before deciding on this country?
We had some other ideas. Nothing really in particular comes to mind. I mean, there was a lot going through our heads, and the reason we selected this is because the resources we had to make the film and really make this production under a low budget allowed us to, like, the farm setting was really accessible to us, and we said that this is what we can do for it. And we talk about, because right beside this farmland there's like a city, and we're just thinking of different ideas, like this could work. And we knew from the beginning we were going to do stuff about tradition, and that just ended up working in the end. You know?
Alright. And what was your favorite scene in the movie?
I can't say I have a particular favorite scene. I mean, really anything that had to relate to the novel and making comparisons between the two characters. But I mean, I definitely like the aesthetic shots of him walking, picking up straw, like things that like visually look good. Any comparisons to the novel were pretty good. But overall, like any scene paints a picture, and I just think it's beautiful overall.
I agree.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
thank
much
you,
for your
Mr.
time.
Frola.